In today's video, we are diving headfirst into the circus that Gavin Newsom, yes, Newsom, and his Democrat buddies call leadership. Fires are raging, homelessness exploding, gas prices through the roof, and yet somehow this guy still finds time to worry more about Texas than his own backyard. You're about to hear directly from Californians themselves, fed up residents who are done with the lies. And trust me, the more you hear, the more you'll realize. If California can flip red, well, then anywhere can. Let's get into it.
Gavin Newsom is an absolute crook. While his state is burning to the ground, and while people have gone 3 days without water, he's using this national publicity to talk about other stuff.
We're talking about emergency measures to respond to what's happening in Texas, and we will nullify what happens in Texas.
Why don't we respond to the foreign investors that are conveniently buying all this oceanfront property after it had been burned down in this fire that you're supposed to be helping with? Oh, it's probably because you're getting a kickback to let them do it. You have a history of doing this. Look, George Soros, hundreds of thousands of donations to Gavin Newsom. Instead of focusing on California, you're posting about Texas. Other states in America. Why? I'll tell you why. It's because you know that you're the favorite for the Democrat candidate in 2028. You're not focused on California. You're focused on the future of you. And you know what's scary about this whole thing? If Gavin Newsom was the candidate and AOC was his choice for vice president, the poly market says that they would win if the election was today. Scary as crap.
Oh, here we go. Gavin Hollywood hair gel Newsom, while his state is literally on fire and people can't even get drinking water, he's out here blabbing about Texas. Why? Because he's too busy daydreaming about his big White House run. Kickbacks, foreign investors buying burned down land, Soros money flowing through his way. It's the same Democrat playbook. Destroy, cash out, move up. And the scariest part? The left actually thinks pairing him with AOC could win. Can you imagine that nightmare ticket? That's not leadership. That's a woke Hunger Games audition. And it's not just speculation, folks. Residents on the ground are saying it plain. California's government is nothing but a money laundering machine.
So I live in California where they refuse accountability and they refuse audits. And we've got a governor who is clearly a money laundering machine, and he sets the example for the rest of his government employees. They seem to think that that's their job too. This is California. It's a tough place to live if you're a person that actually has some morals.
Exactly. These aren't leaders. They're leeches. Newsom sets the example, and all his little cronies, well, they follow suit, pocketing taxpayer money while lecturing the rest of us about equity. California punishes morality and rewards corruption. If you've got standards, if you actually work for a living, well, this state chews you up and spits you out. And you want proof? Let's talk about the billions they've stolen in the name of fixing homelessness.
This right here, folks, this is what we call taking $23 billion of taxpayer money, which is our money out of our pockets, directly from our paychecks, in order to end homelessness, only for the problem to get significantly worse. That's what this is. This is what happens when you make promises that you cannot keep over and over again. We're going to fix education. Education gets worse. We're going to fix the immigration crisis. We flood illegal immigrants into your country, into your state. We fund them while you starve. That's what this is. That's we will strip your children away from you if you do not bow the knee to the woke ideology. Oh, you're not okay with mutilating your children? You don't deserve to be a parent. That's what this is, folks. And I hope this gets to Gavin Newsom and the rest of his crony Democrats. This is a warning. Y'all haven't seen a damn thing yet. Y'all want to see red? Okay. Keep playing the same games y'all are playing. Keep lying the same way in which you have lied continuously. Keep playing with people's lives and watch the whole entire state flip along with the rest of the country. Because when people are sick and tired, they are sick and they are tired.
Bingo. 23 billion taxpayer dollars just gone. And what do Californians get? More tents, more needles, more crime. Every single promise turns into a disaster. Education's worse. Immigration is flooded. Parents are stripped of their rights. And the left has the nerve to brand you a bigot if you don't clap along. Folks are warning Newsom and his entire clown crew, keep playing games, keep lying, and you're going to watch this state flip red in real time. And if you think that's just one issue, wait until you hear how Democrats handle literal flames.
So a couple months ago, about a quarter of the city of Los Angeles was literally on fire. And essentially, the fires themselves were pronounced as being caused by mismanagement of the California government, or more specifically, Los Angeles government. If you want to go all the way up the scale, we have this individual here, Miss Karen Bass, who is the sitting mayor of Los Angeles. Now, could you imagine that the very same individual who could not and cannot manage her own city is now making her opinion known as far as the President of the United States taking care of his own backyard in Washington, D.C. As a matter of fact, these are her exact words. Donald Django Trump, well, the Django part is me, because he is indeed a free man, is targeting black and brown people. So DJT making it an initiative of his to clean up Washington, D.C. from its crime is now black and brown people being targeted. That sounds like an admission of guilt. That just might be me. Yeah, see, here's the thing, Karen. When it comes time to caring about things, all pun intended, you might want to start with your own damn backyard.
Oh, this is rich. A quarter of Los Angeles goes up in flames because of Democrat mismanagement, and Karen Clueless Bass is out here whining about her favorite person, Trump. She actually said cleaning up DC crime is targeting black and brown people. Lady, you can't even manage your own city without it catching fire, and you're throwing out race cards like it's Uno. It's honestly pathetic. And speaking of pathetic, let's not forget Gavin Poop Map Newsom's legacy in San Francisco.
So the Democratic propaganda machine is currently looking to do all it possibly can to desensitize the history of this con man right here, a man known as Gavin Newsom. DJT would say scum, I would say scam, because I have lived under the rulership of Gavin Newsom as a California resident. Now, I don't have to do too much to sort of draw an image in your head of who this man actually is besides this right here. Now, as you see, right here we have a map of San Francisco up there at the peninsula. And y'all see those dots right there, those little brown markers all throughout? Yeah, that right there is actually from an application that is used in places such as San Francisco. It's actually known as the Poop app. Now, what this Poop app does is it signals where you can possibly find some poop. Likely human. This is the state of our state, thanks to this face right here. Remember this face? And remember the Poop app. If this is what you want for America, go ahead and sign that damn ballot away. But if you don't want poop all over your sidewalks, you know what to do come 2028.
Yes, you heard it right. There is a literal poop app to track human feces on the streets of San Francisco. That's what decades of Democrat rule gets you. Tech-savvy ways to avoid stepping in piles of feces. And Newsom's actually proud of this track record. Remember that face. If you want America to look like San Francisco, my God, I don't know how you would, but okay. By all means, then vote Democrat. And while the streets turn into open-air bathrooms, let's hear from Gavin himself promising the world on homelessness.
What we call a 10-year plan to end chronic homelessness in San Francisco.
How are you going to solve homelessness? What are you going to do as a new mayor? And I say, well, what are you going to do?
Focus on a housing first model, direct access to housing.
Shelter, solve sleep, housing with wraparound and support services, solve homelessness. Homelessness absolutely can be solved.
Laid out a detailed homeless strategy. There's been no intentionality on homelessness in this state for decades. It's not been a focus.
I don't think we can solve homelessness. I know we can solve homelessness. We will reduce street homelessness quickly and humanely through emergency action.
The highest investment the state's ever made is $1 billion on homelessness. We are poised to pass a budget in the next few hours that will provide $12 billion of investment. I can literally quantify 58,000 people that we got off the streets last year, and none of you would believe it.
This state has not made progress in the last 2 decades as it relates to homelessness. Why?
We're not interested in funding failure. We're not interested in failing more efficiently when it comes to the issue of homelessness and the crisis on the street.
Oh, give me a break. 10-year plans, billions in investments, all the fancy words about wraparound services. Fast forward, and what do you have? What do we have now? Record homelessness, wasted billions, and a state that looks worse than ever before. This is what Democrats do. Throw money at the problem, pat themselves on the back, and then cry when nothing changes. And speaking of billions wasted, Jesse Waters lays it out perfectly.
Imagine losing $20 billion. That's what's happening in California this week, where under Gavin Newsom's watch, the state spent $20 billion over the last 5 years to combat homelessness. And the number of homeless people increased. So when auditors asked to see where the money was spent, no one had any idea. It turns out the state's homeless council just threw money at homeless nonprofits, but didn't track how much or how the nonprofits spent it. So lawmakers demanded a hearing, and it was a hot mess. Watch.
What's the money been spent on?
LACH is working on finalizing its HAP annual report and hope to have that published in short order.
Why is it taking 3 years to get data? The system was implemented in 2021.
So HGIS began in 2021. It wasn't fully implemented until 2022.
Okay, that's still 2 years ago. So why is it taking so long? I mean, you're the one that said you're urgent. I don't know, maybe my sense of urgency is different from your sense of urgency. You can't tell us at all how many people we've helped.
No, they can't. It's like a car accident. You don't want to look, but you can't stop.
When you're talking about what happened in those 2 years, a lot of that is grantees using a data system they'd never used before, getting used to it, getting substantial technical assistance, us getting back bad data, needing to go have further conversations, and then needing to go work on cleaning up that data.
So they lost $20 billion because of technical difficulties?
$20 billion just vanished into the homelessness black hole. No accountability, no data, no clue where it went. These people couldn't track a dollar if you stapled it to their forehead. But somehow, in some way, they always manage to track your paycheck, right? That's Democrat math. Taxpayers bleed, nonprofits feast, and politicians climb. And while they're bleeding you dry on homelessness, wait until you see what they're doing with your gas prices.
Man, if you thought California gas prices couldn't get any worse, wait till you hear what Gavin Newsom and his Democrats just did. The California Senate just rejected a bill that could have saved you up to 65 cents per gallon at the pump. Yeah, you heard that correctly. A Republican senator tried to stop a climate regulation that experts warned would spike gas prices. and every single Democrat voted against it. Every single one. Now they're claiming it only raises prices 5 to 8 cents. Really? When was the last time Sacramento underestimated the cost of any regulation? These are the same people who say they're helping the working class while you're paying $6 or more for a gallon of gas. They had a chance to stand with struggling Californians, moms, dads, delivery drivers, small business owners, and instead they chose climate, talking points, over your bank account. This isn't leadership. This is ideology at the expense of the people. And unless something changes before July 1st, you're about to watch your gas prices skyrocket again. What do you think about this?
Exactly. Republicans tried to cut prices at the pump. Democrats said, nah, moms, dads, truckers, keep paying $6 to $7 a gallon. And then Sacramento just smugly shrugs. They'd rather worship at the altar of climate change than give working families a break. These aren't leaders. These are ideologues. And guess who suffers the most? It's definitely not Gavin, not the politicians. It's you. And when people bring up socialism, some call it an exaggeration. But the residents, they know better.
Speaking of the track records that you mentioned earlier with socialism, it usually leads to famine and, just massive death and shortages of, everything, freedom, money, food. And we're seeing that here in California, California, as they often refer to it. It's embarrassing to have that nomenclature attached to it, but it is true. And we are facing even more when talk about food shortages. I mean, they just shut the water off here in California. And before, farmers were getting insufficient amounts of water. Now they're just straight up getting zero.
Right on the money. Socialism always ends the same way. Shortages, rationing, complete collapse. And now farmers in California are literally cut off from water. No food, no future. But hey, at least Gavin can brag about his green energy while people starve. But the anger is boiling over. Californians, they just aren't holding back anymore.
It's so fucking hilarious that everywhere I go, all these fucking liberals left and right talking about Gavin Newsom this, Gavin Newsom that, putting him such high on the pedestal because, he's fighting fire with fire. He's going to claim those Democratic seats and overrun the Republican, yada, yada. Instead of him giving a shit about his state, that used to be called the Golden State, now probably the Golden Shit State, having the highest unemployment rate, even higher than half of the East Coast, including Jersey, where I moved from years ago, because we used to at one point have the highest unemployment rate. No, now it's fucking good old Cali, the golden place, the Golden State, where Hollywood is, where all the celebrities live. Because Gavin Newsom's got his head so far stuck up his ass, do you think he gives a crap about the country at all whatsoever, that some of you want to call him president, let alone his own fucking state? Like, come on now. He is probably one of the biggest pussies I've ever seen in my life. And he could talk a big-ass game half the time, and half it don't even make sense anyway. But does he ever walk the walk? Hell to the fuck no. And to me, I'm sorry, honestly, out of every freaking president or leader or anything I've ever seen, Donald Trump is atop of that pedestal by far. He is the fucking fire. He is the base, the fuel of the fire. I mean, he has so much fire going on that he just had 70,000 monks, actual monks, who swear never ever to break silence at all, ever, in there as long as they live. And they did it to give Trump a Nobel Peace Prize, because not also was he doing a kick-ass job in this country and giving a shit about people and trying to change the economy, but he's also putting his foot down for world peace. And he did it all, not even in the first year of his fucking term. So yeah, just had to really get that off my chest.
This is pure fire. Newsom turned the Golden State into the golden you-know-what state. Highest unemployment, highest taxes, highest delusion. Meanwhile, Trump delivered jobs, peace, and respect worldwide. Democrats scoff, but regular people, they can see the contrast clear as day. One guy fights for America, the other fights for his own ego. And to really drive it home, guys, let's close this all out with what it means. At the end of the day, folks, I think it's simple. Californians are done. Fires mismanaged, homelessness exploding, gas gouging. Corruption is everywhere. And Gavin Newsom still has the audacity, the nerve, the gall, the gumption to strut around like he's the savior of democracy. No. He's the undertaker of California. And if this state, the bluest of the blue, is fed up enough to turn red, then I think Democrats everywhere should be shaking in their boots.